Hi everyone. So I had quite a few people ask me to do a tutorial on how I make my large Paw Patrol pups. So I thought that I would sit down, and since I still have Rocky to finish, I thought that I would record how I do Rocky. So the images are already saved onto my computer. I got them from the Crafty Nook at theblogspot.com. She has a bunch of different kind of SVGs, and they're great. Her quality is awesome. Her color tones, everything, her layers are great. Would highly recommend using her site, and they're also free, so that's even better. So the very first thing that I did, I already have a few things set up to kind of save time, but the very first thing that I did was I went to upload images, and then I uploaded this image onto here. The next thing I want to do is I am going to click on Rocky, and I'm going to ungroup him, and I want to delete this Craft Nook. And the reason is because, well, we don't want to print it, and also I don't want it to become a part of the height for Rocky. I don't want that to be counted into his height when we change his height. So now I'm going to group him back together, so when he moves around the screen, he all moves together. And now I'm going to make sure that he's clicked, and I'm going to go over here to height, and I'm going to change him to 36 inches and hit enter. Now he's a lot larger, and I'm going to zoom out. So you can see that I already have some things going on over here in the corner, and I just did that because sometimes copying and pasting takes a while in Design Space. So basically what we're going to do is we are going to break Rocky down piece by piece. And what we want to do is we want to make it so that Rocky fits on to a 12 by 12 mat. And I don't know, I can't get these. There we go. Okay. So the way that we do that, the very first thing that we're going to do is we're going to create the backing in which Rocky will go on. So we're going to ungroup Rocky, and I'm actually going to zoom out one more. We're going to, I'm going to zoom back in. Okay, we're going to ungroup Rocky, and what we want to grab from Rocky is this black background here. If I can get to it. There we go. This black background is what we're going to use to group Rocky. And this is what all of these pieces are going to glue onto once you have cut and you're ready to assemble. And so basically what we're going to do is we're going to slice this down to fit on 12 by 12 mats. So what I did is I went to insert shape and I inserted square. And then when you click on that square, you'll edit it, keep it, make sure that it remains locked. And over here in the edit tab, you'll go to 11 inches and hit enter. And it'll make it 11 by 11. And that's what you need. I've played around quite a bit with these mats, and 11 by 11 really is the biggest that you can go to make sure that everything fits onto a 12 by 12 mat. Don't think that you can do 11 by 5 and think that it'll be okay. In some projects, it maybe might work, but so that you don't risk having to start over and redo your whole project, I would highly recommend just sticking with the 11 by 11 mats. It'll save you some sanity. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take these 11 by 11 mats, and we're going to start applying them over Rocky and slicing him into little pieces to make it so that he can go on a 12 by 12 mat. So we're going to start in the bottom. I usually start and go bottom up. Sometimes I like to start, I never start in the middle. I always go top to bottom or bottom to top. So actually with Rocky, I'm going to start at the top. So I just keep that, make sure that this is highlighted, and then I hold down the shift key and select Rocky and go over here to layers, and you'll see that it says slice, and you can slice it right up. And we want to keep that black piece, so we're going to delete this one, and we're going to delete this one. And you'll see that I already have a bunch of these 11 by 11 squares made up. I just hit copy and paste until I had as many as I felt I needed. Um, so I'm just going to place this over here for I'll leave it right here for right now. So then I'm going to go and make this next piece right there. And again, hold shift, click the whole thing, and slice. And there we go. Apologize if you can hear my son jabbering in the background. I'm going to slice again. This is probably the most time consuming part of this project. Putting it together does take some time after you are ready, once you actually cut it. But the piecing it together and figuring out how it should go together is, to me, is the most time consuming part. So we'll do that. And this isn't limited to just the Paw Patrol pups either. You can really do this with anything that you set your mind to. I've done a Buzz Lightyear. I've done Daniel Tiger. I did a Woody. I'm going to attempt to do a Peppa Pig. So there's a lot of different characters. If you have an SVG for this project, for whatever project it is that you want to do, and it's on a black backing like this, you will probably be able to achieve it. So we're gonna slice Rocky here, and we'll click on him. And we'll slice this part here. And I like to piece him back together as I go. It helps me when I'm putting him together, once I've cut everything out, to just kind of know where everything belongs, and just where you're at in your project. I find that it makes it easier. It definitely probably takes some more time to piece them together, but oh shoot, that should have been a part of that last square. So I'm just gonna undo everything that I did and move it over a tad. And there we go. And then I'm just gonna make sure that this little part right here fits on a 12 by 12 mat, and it sure does. So then we'll put it here. And then once you print all of this out, what I do is I tape along the back so you don't see any of the taped pieces. And then we'll glue all of these pieces onto this black piece. So now with Rocky, we need to make sure that things are going to fit onto this 12 by 12 mat. So again, I'm going to go either top down or bottom up. I'm going to go bottom up. So I'm going to start with the feet. And you'll see that you can't ungroup these pieces. You're going to have to slice them apart because they are kind of attached together as one big piece. And if I were to hit go right now, it would tell me that this wouldn't fit on a 12 by 12 mat. So I'm going to zoom in a little bit just to kind of see what I'm doing here. And sometimes you have to rotate just a little to get it to slice the way you want. So now I'm going to slice these pieces. And like I said, I like to put them back put Rocky back together as I go. So I know what we're doing. See, this is all attached as one big, huge piece. And so you want to separate those out. So I'll make, let's see here. So you see this little tiny piece right here is kind of hanging off. I'm going to leave that. This is going to fit on a 12 by 12 mat. It's not even a half an inch hanging over. It's just barely, if you zoom in more, you can see that it's just barely hanging over. So I think that that's actually going to be fine once we go to print. So I'm not going to slice that piece up. But I am going to slice this piece up, and I'm going to zoom in again because I want to try to slice it right in that crease, because I don't want to cut this piece in half because it'll obviously fit on a 12 by 12 mat. So now this is its own piece, separate. Oopsies, moved to the wrong one. And oh good, this fits on a 12 by 12 mat too. So we'll slice. And remember that I keep saying that it's going to fit on a 12 by 12 mat, but your squares should only be 11 by 11. Anything bigger than that and it's not going to work. Or at least it won't work as well. So I'm going to do this, and I'm just going to make this just a little bit bigger before. Because remember I said this one piece is kind of an exception that it will fit on the 12 by 12 mat. And so kind of as we're going, we can place Humpty Dumpty back together again. Okay, so here is Rocky's face, and you'll notice if you bring this down, Rocky's face is too big. He's not going to fit on a 12 by 12 mat. And so this is kind of where you have to get creative about how you're going to piece Rocky together. So my gut is telling me that I'm going to start with his ear and make his ear his own separate portion. And the more times that you've done this and the more times that you've put these characters together, the more that this creativity piece, I think, comes a little bit easier because you kind of understand how it's going to look when you piece it together and when you finally glue it together on the screen. And I'm just moving these black pieces over so that they match up. And how it's not how it's going to look at the screen, but how it's actually going to look on Rocky when you put them together. The more that you've done, the better knowledge you have of how it's going to look. And so I think cutting him right there is going to be okay. And then I think we'll make another incision. See, I don't really want to break up his nose too much. So this should be fine right here on his face. I want to kind of keep those freckles all together. I don't really want those to be a separate piece is what I'm thinking. So, oops. That goes there. And then I'm going to take it and slice it right there, but I'm going to turn my mat so it slices. No, it's not going to work very well. Like I said, it's kind of a creative touch on how to slice these the right way. So Rocky's actually kind of a difficult example. And so actually what I'm going to do for Rocky here, because you see that there's like a curve right here, that's where I want it to slice at, because these are going to be two different pieces as they cut anyway. So that's kind of where I want it to slice. So what I'm actually going to do, and you can see that this bottom half will fit on a mat and this top half will fit on a mat. So I'm actually going to go over here and I'm going to insert a circle. And I'm going to bring that circle down and make that circle big enough to slice right where I want it. Which is right there. So now I'm going to slice. So now Rocky's bottom of his face. And it's going to look a lot worse on here than it will on paper when you actually piece Rocky together. I promise this looks way worse. I'll post a picture of my Daniel Tiger that his face is literally cut into 4 separate quadrants, and I'll show you a picture of how he looks in the comment section because he looks great. So then again, this green sheet here is its own attached piece. And this, I'm not going to worry. I used to try to cut these down to make all these in each individual pieces. I found that takes way more time than is necessary. So I'm just going to rotate this to try to see if I can slice it. It's not going to work. So let's see, I'll do that. And I'm just going to slice it right here for the first one. And then the next one, now kind of and now let's see if this fits, and looks like it does. So we'll go here and place Rocky where he kind of belongs. So maybe, there we go, I should be able to get there. Okay, so then we'll take this down and just make sure it fits 12 by 12 mat. Sure does. So bring it to the front, and it goes right there. I'm going to bring this to the front because I'm pretty sure this went right here. Bring this to the front because it fits on that mat. I'm just going to group this together so it's easier to move. There we go. I think this is his little piece on his bag. And let's see his hat status. Hat is good. Most of these little pieces are going to fit just fine on a 12 by 12 mat. So all of these little pieces for sure will fit on a 12 by 12 mat. His hat will not, so I'm going to slice his hat right here. And I'm just going to group these together so I can move them together. This looks like it'll fit, so I'll move it to the front. This will definitely fit. And then I'm just going to group all of these together. And scroll down, and there you have it. You have a sliced up Rocky. So I'm just going to delete these extra squares. And I'm going to hit go. And you'll see that all of these pieces are cut here. And I like to always check to make sure that they didn't throw in a 12 by 24 mat in here somewhere, which it shouldn't have. It usually tells you if it does. But no, everything looks good. So then you would just start at the top and print. And there you have it. That's how to make a 36-inch or 3-foot Paw Patrol pup. I hope this helped.